Welcome to the 12th episode of Cartridge Chronicles, the podcast where we dust off the cartridges, blow on them, whether that helped or not, and dive deep into the games that shaped us. I'm Questmaster Prime, joined as always by Marz Attakz, and today we're shifting gears from discussing a video game to going over another video game movie. We are leaving the platforming logic of the Mushroom Kingdom behind to discuss one of the most bizarre, ambitious, and controversial experiments in Hollywood history. Today we're going to cover the 1993 live-action Super Mario Bros. Movie, a film that took the colorful, whimsical world of Nintendo's flagship franchise and then explicitly reimagined it as a gritty, Blade Runner-esque cyberpunk adventure. This film is a fascinating train wreck. It's a movie that replaced fire flowers with de-evolution guns, reimagined Goombas as tiny-headed reptilian thugs, and turned the iconic Princess Peach into a paleontologist. It was Hollywood's first major attempt to adapt a video game into a feature film, and it set a tone that would haunt the genre for decades. Whether you view it as a campy cult classic or a total betrayal of the source material, there's no denying its place in pop culture history. Grab your popcorn and maybe a mushroom or two. This is Super Mario Bros., the 1993 live-action disaster. All right, I am here with Marz Attakz, and today we are going to do something different, and we're going to talk about another video game movie, and it's a movie we talked about from other episodes that we did and we like to do. And this movie is the Super Mario Bros. Movie, not the new one that came out. That was actually pretty good, but the one that came out in 1993. And this movie was, I believe, one of the first video game movies ever made. I think there might have been some others that I'm missing, but I think this is like one of the first video game movies that were made. And the production of this movie was, from what I could see, it was very chaotic. It was very all over the place. The directors were Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel. They're known for more experimental, avant-garde style movies. All the movies they typically make are not really what you would, they're not the directors you would think they would have for a family-friendly movie like Mario Brothers. So this is probably another reason why the actual movie was just tone deaf as far as the Mario Brothers franchise. So the script underwent a dozen rewrites. There were actors, and we'll get into this later, there were actors that were drinking on set and they just didn't want to be there. They were just trying to get through production.
I bet it was Dennis Hopper.
It was actually, I think it was Bob Hoskins. And I think it was Dennis Hopper as well, but I think it was more Bob Hoskins.
Wow. And
we'll get into that because Bob Hoskins is actually a good actor, right? But this movie was it was poorly produced. It was horrible. And it was just a lot of ego and confusion and a whole bunch of misunderstanding of what made Mario, right? What are your thoughts? What are your initial thoughts?
I think this was one of the first video game movies to ever come out. We had already started to see Hollywood move to, I don't know how to say it. I want to say, I don't want to say nostalgia or more nerdy IPs, but He-Man, they started to put out movies that were for that cartoons to live action. I'll put it that way.
Yes.
And this was, again, looking at the video game medium to live action. So we talked about before how Nintendo was a phenomenon. It had cereal, it had cartoons, it had merchandise. So this was another piece of that, and it was like, I guess, the natural progression to movies, right? So
yes,
already had TV. Now we need to do movies. And this movie suffers from what I think a lot of video game movies after it's kind of still suffer with, and that's people not really knowing the the game.
Yes. Yes.
Now here's an honest take, right? There was really no story in the Mario game. You save the princess,
Yeah. Just simple. Yeah.
to each other castle. So I'll give it to the people. There's a lot of things you had to come up with to kind of make a coherent story. You'll see in the later Marios, they kind of just take it from the game. It's like there's enough lore out there that people knew that it was okay to kind of start from the beginning of the Mario story and have a coherent story, right? This was another world. These plumbers get taken to another world. In fact, I think even at this time when this movie came out, I was expecting it to be animated and not live action.
Yeah, I agree with that. It was very this is like the last IP or the last product I would think it would be live action, because like you said, the story was very simple. Like it's just especially at this time, it's 1993. So there wasn't a lot of lore. There wasn't really, it was just a plumber gets stuck in Mushroom Land and has to save a princess from a dragon. Or it was basically the knight going after the princess. That's basically the story.
Exactly. But Mario is a regular person. So it's kind of like a spin on that story.
Yes.
Think of I'm gonna date myself. Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court, right?
Yes.
The idea that the regular world gets pulled into this to fantastic, and that's what this is supposed to represent and present. So it's just interesting again that they decided to go live action. Now I will tell you, in watching or rewatching this movie, because I only saw it the first time when it originally came out. I don't even think I went to the theater to see it. I didn't go to the theater to see this movie because I didn't want to. I just didn't think it was going to be good. And that was the impression that I had even when they were trying to hype this up. And I feel like that was a problem from jump, right? The audience to the game was already looking at this kind of strange. And when you're watching it, like when I'm rewatching it, I'm like, oh man, the studio spent a lot of money for this movie.
Yeah.
Just with the actors and even just with a lot of the world that they built. I was impressed with the amount. I had forgotten. I was like, oh man, they really did spend a lot of money for this movie, and for it to be, I don't know if it was a flop or not. I'm guessing it was, but at least in my mind it was. But for it to be, not critically acclaimed, I can see why the studio is like, man, that was a bust, And I think they should have also thought of, where do we go wrong? I don't think a lot of studios think about that when they make these kind of movies. I think they're just like on to the next, and that's why again the prevailing thought about video game movies is, or at least in my mind, is the people who are doing this don't know the source material and therefore should not be making these movies. I would say the same thing about some comic book movies too, but that's another topic.
And you mentioned the budget. So the budget was about $48 million. And
in 1993 terms, that's crazy. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. And they only made back like 30 million, or I think 18. It was really low. They didn't make their budget. They did not make their it was like you said, it was a failure because they didn't make their whole budget. It grossed about 38.9 million worldwide, but they still lost an estimated 20 plus million. So I guess there were some other things that they added to that budget because remember it was poorly produced.
Yeah.
So that was another thing that really hurt it. But like you said, they don't learn from these, really bad movies. Like they don't, it's like they don't learn. They just keep creating horrible movies one after the next.
Yeah. That I just, again, like, and you will get into the story, or maybe we can even just start the story now. Like, the world creation here is, you see these two brothers. It was Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, which was just kind of a weird combination. I think they just wanted a short round guy and a tall skinny guy.
Yeah, Bob Hoskins probably fit that mold better than anybody back then. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just so the world is, you're in Brooklyn, New York. Well, flashback, it's 20 years ago, and there's a woman, she's in the rain, she's delivering a package to a church, a convent, and there's a rock she puts on this like futuristic device. In the device, and then she runs off. The sisters open the door, they take in the device, and there's an egg that opens up, right? And here's the prologue to the movie talks about the I guess it would be the dinosaurs in the age of the dinosaurs, and an asteroid hits Earth, and what it did was basically create another dimension where the dinosaurs evolved in that dimension rather than on Earth. So there's two tracks of evolution. There's the mammal track on Earth Prime and the dinosaur track on Earth 1. And I'm going to be honest, that premise is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. On paper, it sounds good.
Yeah. Like, I mean, not even like, I feel like they could have did a movie like that sans Mario, like without the Mario angle, right? Yes. And I don't know who would have wrote it, but it would have been kind of cool to be like, okay, what would a world where dinosaurs evolved, what would it be like? And living in parallel. It's almost like if you, again, I'm going to age myself. The Land of the Lost was a show I used to watch when I was, but it was like the dinosaurs lived underground, or some of them evolved, some of them didn't. There were aliens down there. Anyway, it's still like this other universe, this other world where you see the progression of dinosaurs in their own way of evolution. So I actually, when I rewatched it, and I was like, that's actually kind of a cool premise for a story. And then they threw in the Mario Brothers.
Yes. Well, also the directors were known for experimental style. So, if they didn't have Mario, like you said, it could have been this might have been a good movie if they didn't try to like pigeonhole it into a Mario mythos.
Yeah.
If they just kept it without Mario, it would have been pretty good.
It almost felt like two different stories in a sense. Like, like the Mario, like you said, the Mario piece was pigeonholed in.
Yeah.
Because you see, and this goes back to me watching like with the world creation, they don't have gas or power. They have electric, and everything's running on electric or steam. And so it's kind of interesting to see like, oh, they have this prevailing fungus that's growing everywhere. They're what they eat. They've evolved to eat certain different things outside because they've lost the access to the Earth Prime. And how would that change their evolution? Some people are fully dinosaur, some people are half human looking dinosaur. They still produce using the egg method, so it's kind of this interesting sci-fi hypothesis of, if dinosaurs were to continue on, would they even look like, would we assume, the assumption is that they would look like people,
reptilian and humanoid same time. Yeah.
And it also made me think of, I don't know if you remember the show V.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the old one and the new one. They remade it.
So it made me think of that. It was like, oh, this planet there was a distant planet where the lizards evolved, right?
Yep.
And so they were humanoid in a sense. Now, spoiler alert, if you've never seen V, they come to Earth, they look like humans, but that's just a mask they wear, because they don't really look like humans. They are still lizard, they're still reptilian, even though they are humanoid. They stand upright, they have opposable digits, they walk around like humans, they eat and consume. And so it got me kind of even like remembering that. It was like, oh, it's almost like also like a V mashup where the dinosaurs evolved into these humanoid looking things, even though they look more human. And even their social structure has become more human. They're chaotic. They have a police force, they have an army, they have a president.
This
if that's what you call it.
Well, this will be a great movie for what you described, right? This would be a great movie without the Mario. Like if you got the Mario Brothers out of it, like if you weren't trying to make it a Mario Brothers movie, because from how you described it, right? This sounds like a movie I would like to watch.
Right. And that's the thing that I walked away from, was I feel like this would have been better as not a Mario movie.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree. It was they're trying to make it, like you said, like the script. If you read the script and you just get rid of Mario Brothers out of it, you can say, oh, this might be a good sci-fi movie to watch. But you're trying to add these characters in here, these very two-dimensional characters, into this complex story.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really fit, because the whole like premise, you mentioned the plot, like King Koopa, all he's trying to do is devolve everybody into, he's trying to devolve all humanoids into reptiles, which is, I mean, it's a King Koopa thing to do, but it's just like, okay. I don't know, it's just something weird and to see in live action.
Yeah. And and speaking of that, like, I guess even the premise of the sci-fi movie that we're writing right now, Mario people. Okay, you have a leader of these dinosaur people that wants to get back to Earth Prime and also turn humanity into slaves, or at least lower them to where they can be controlled.
Yes.
So I think it's a good premise for a story. I don't think it needed the Mario Brothers.
It's funny because the de-evolution of humanity, or not turning them into lizard people, that's from the lizard in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The lizard, that was his whole goal, was to put make everybody a lizard person. So it's very similar to that story as well. I don't know, it just seems like a familiar story, but trying to funnel the Mario Brothers.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure, there are people who like this movie.
I don't know who they would be.
Kids,
maybe, yeah.
That, grew up with it. It's nostalgia for a lot of people. But I feel like I don't know. I just remember when I heard about it, I didn't want to see it.
And
I
you, oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I also remember, like I said, the running tragedy of video game movies. And I think that's what saddens me the most is there are video games with great stories in themselves that don't have to be reinvented. And I'm going to tell you my favorite, or I guess my personal opinion of the best video game movie is Silent Hill, the first one.
That was a good one. Yeah, that was a good movie.
Because it gave you the atmosphere, it gave you the feeling, and it had the Silent Hill story. You know, the mom looking for the daughter in this. We're stuck in this weird land.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
I guess precursor to the Upside Down in Stranger Things, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's the same story.
Yeah, but it was just well done. And even seeing the video game monsters and villains on screen, like, was good, like with Triangle Head showing up, like that was, and
yeah.
I mean, gives me chills on the one point where he rips this lady's skin off. Like it's just like the nurses, that are stone statue, but they start to move. So, and just even the atmosphere of the movie, the fogginess of Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So I think to me, that was one of the best adaptations of a video game to the big screen. People will also say Resident Evil. I will give you the first one, even though I don't know how I feel like it was a zombie movie and they just tagged Resident Evil on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked it. I won't say I did. I enjoyed it.
Well, Resident Evil that's like I would think that would be an easier movie to make because Resident Evil is just zombies. Like it would really be hard to screw that up. Right.
Yeah.
And then like, you also mentioned Silent Hill. Like Silent Hill seems like an easier movie to make because, like you just said, like Upside Down. But this is before the Upside Down stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just it has a lot of source material. So I guess that goes back into like the source material.
Yeah.
Like Mario didn't have much to work with really, and you mentioned it earlier. Like it was just a plumber saves a princess, right? So and they're like, here's your source material. Make a movie. Make a 2-hour movie.
Yeah,
based off of that. Like what? So
it could be an animated 30-minute movie, and I'd have been okay with that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned animated. They did have an animated movie. I don't know if you remember this, but Japan had an animated movie, Mario animated movie. I think it came around. I think it was either before Mario 2 came out, or it was like between Mario 1 and Mario 2. But they had a movie. It only was released in Japan, but I think that there's some fans who translated it, so you can watch it on like YouTube. But it was animated, and it came before this movie, and that was a weird movie. That was a weird movie because they didn't have a lot of source material, so they were just making up stuff as they went along.
And maybe that's why, I don't know. Maybe it's not fair to judge it because there was no story, quote unquote, in the game.
Yeah.
And then I would argue, like, then there's no need for a movie. But that's
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about this. Well, this movie, you got lucky because you didn't spend money on it. But I didn't spend money on it either, but my dad took me to this movie over the weekend, and I was 93, so I was like maybe 11 or 12. And I wasn't really excited. I was excited, but I wasn't excited because I was like, this is the first time I saw personally a video game or a movie based off a video game, and it was a popular video game.
Yeah.
So my curiosity got the best of me, and I was like, Dad, let's go see. Can you take me to this movie? And he's like, sure. And yeah, it was as bad as, I mean, I didn't have really high hopes going into it, but when I went in there and me and my dad were just like, yeah, this is just, he's like, how'd you like the movie? And I just like, this is, I like, this is bad, man. This is a bad movie, Dad. Like it was, and I was a kid, and I
Right.
was more forgiving of movies back then, because a lot of movies I watch now, when I watch as a kid, I thought were good, were actually bad writing, just bad in general. So me saying it as a kid says a lot.
So here's my question to you. Was there anything redeemable in the movie that like you got out of it?
That's a good question. The only thing that was redeemable was the Bob Hoskins was
Mhm.
Mario. Like the casting choice for him, or
Okay.
the casting choice is just the casting choice of him playing Mario, I thought was good. Um, and I don't know if this was before or after Roger Rabbit. I don't know if it was. I think it was.
I think it's
Or was
after
it
Roger.
after? Okay,
Yeah.
so that's how I think that was one of the reasons I wanted to see it, because I liked him in Roger Rabbit.
Mhm.
So seeing seeing him play that, because he looked like Mario. Like
Right.
he had the Mario. John Leguizamo, I didn't know who that was, but I go back and I'm like, wait a minute, they had a Puerto Rican guy play an Italian plumber, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it to be racist, but it's just like, that's just like, they're two different. I don't know. It didn't fit. And he was a comedian. Um, I don't know. It just didn't, like, it didn't fit. Like the casting for uh outside of Mario. So that was just my take on it. Not now, when I was a kid, that was the only redeeming quality, was the Bob Hoskins. The rest of it I just didn't understand as a kid,
Right.
because I'm thinking they're gonna be hitting bricks. He's gonna hit bricks, he's gonna hit, like, just like in the game.
Yeah, you had an expectation that you would see something very Mario in the game,
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was just like, it started out with them being in New York, which is fine. The Super Show, and they tell the story in that, the Super Mario Super Show. They tell the story of how they were plumbers and they lived in Brooklyn, and then they found a pipe and they went through the pipe. Um, but it was just, I don't know. Once they got to that city, that kind of, it was almost like I call it like a cyberpunk type of
Yeah.
city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
And it was just like, this is not the kingdom that I was thinking of, right?
It
It
was
wasn't.
definitely not the Mushroom Kingdom.
No, it wasn't the Mushroom Kingdom. I was like looking for Toadstool. I think they had Pauline in this movie. I'm trying to remember.
Also, this was Daisy. This wasn't Peach.
Oh, it was Daisy. Okay, I thought it was Peach. Um, but wasn't Pauline in it too? Because Pauline is his girlfriend in the Donkey Kong series. I thought Pauline was in it as
Well,
well.
I think they called her Darla.
Darla. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. I mean, I felt bad for my dad, because he spent money. I mean, movies weren't that expensive back then, but he spent money for us to see the movie. I'm thinking it's going to be great. My dad was like, he didn't really know what he watched.
Hmm.
And he got me into video games. My dad was the one that kind of got me into all these games, and he was a gamer, and he was just like, this was just bad. The acting was bad, and he's a grown up, right? So, and I also remember vaguely. I just remember, like, like when you watch a good movie in the movie theater and people cheer.
Yeah.
Like after this movie, like people were like confused, right? It was almost like there was no cheering. It was just, I don't know. I just remember kids being like, "What did I just watch?" It's like that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing on YouTube, where the kids on Oprah, right? And then they see the
Oh yeah.
turtles. That's
And
that's kind of, Yeah. They look
Yeah.
at the turtles, and the
And
turtles are
like,
saying all this. Yeah, they're saying this crazy stuff.
and they look weird, and you're just like, what is going on right now?
Yeah. That's what I think most of the kids are like when they watch that movie, they're kind of like, what?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it was. It was just more of a letdown.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like traumatized me for other video game movies, because I was like, well, they don't know anything about video game movies. So every time they made a video game movie, I was skeptical,
Mm.
So it did make me not trust Hollywood when it came to video game movies, except for Silent Hill. Silent Hill, I agree with you. Silent Hill was a great movie. So were some of the Resident Evils. I just think they had more of source material to work with.
Yeah.
I can't blame the directors 100%, because they didn't really have anything to really make a good movie. Really,
now that I'm
they tried.
like older and like, I'm thinking about it, I'm just like, they couldn't have made a movie. They couldn't have really done. They did really the best they could. And that's why I said, the story itself is like, oh, dinosaurs continue to evolve in another dimension and want to come back to the prime dimension.
Yes.
That's a story I'd want to see.
Yeah.
But like throwing Mario is just like, oh, okay. And that's why you would get, me and you as kids walking out of the theater like, what was that? Like,
and that was the thing. Like you said, it's like they made the script before Mario came out.
Yeah.
Right. And they were like, well, we want you to take this script and then add Mario to it, because we want this cash grab. So take the script that you already wrote for this other movie and then just add Mario to it so we can get some money from it. That's what it seemed like. And from what you explained, the writing was great. The writing was good. But then when they try to like funnel it in there, they have like the Goombas, for instance, right? You're thinking Goombas, and these like weird big guys with these little heads, right? You saw that, right?
Yeah. And again, it's kind of like you're trying to put this thing in that, and you're trying to fit it in the way, because it's you de-evolve these people into this, but it's still just it's just weird,
Yeah.
It's because in playing the game, I don't know why we would even, and maybe again, that's the thing, is like, you're playing the game, you're not assuming that these people are devolved. You're assuming these people are just like this. These characters are like this, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then at one point, they quote unquote devolve King Koopa, and it just makes him. He just now has a lizard tongue and the slit eyes.
Yes.
And you're like, so what was even the point of the de-evolution, tool if it's not going to work? It doesn't work the same on everybody.
Yeah, and that's funny. That's funny. Like you mentioned, like Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
There's another character on there, Big Bertha. I don't know if you remember that. Like it's a big black lady, and she's Big Bertha. I'm like, man, this is kind of rude. This is kind of mean, right? But I guess she's supposed to be like the fish character from Mario. Big Bertha. So I don't know. It was and then Yoshi was actually in this. I forgot he was in this.
Yep, he's in there.
Yeah.
And then what was it? The other thing about this world, the trying to make the abilities more real world.
Yeah.
So the jumping, why can they jump so high? They have these special boots.
Oh, yeah.
The and the different technology that was evolved in this other world.
Right.
You know, the fireballs, no, they have guns that shoot because that shoot the fire, you know.
Right.
So it's just you know, them trying to keep it grounded, even though this is a fantastic world, was interesting.
Yeah.
And I think it also, again, when you're a kid watching this is not what you were expecting. And there's no color.
No.
It's an underground city, like you said, it's very cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Which I now can appreciate. But back then I was like, this what is this? This is no color. There's nothing, you know, special about this. It looks like it just looks like an underground city. Actually, it reminded me of watching, it's always like these dystopian futures.
Yeah.
Watching Demolition Man, and how the people who didn't conform have to live underground and steal Taco Bell from the people up top.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, cyberpunk is good when it's done right. Like if it's you know, Blade Runner is probably the thing we think about the most with cyberpunk, right? Blade Runner did a great job with it. It's a great story. It's a great movie. But when I think of cyberpunk, I don't think of Mario. I think, I think, like you said, bright colors.
I feel like if they did a cyberpunk Mario, it would be interesting.
Yeah.
But I also feel like it was just two separate stories. It was two separate stories.
Yeah. And I think it was just they needed a movie for the executives.
Yeah.
And they already had something in their file cabinet that they already wrote, and then they just added Mario to it. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it was a good script. But when you add Mario to it, it just doesn't look good. And then the other thing I want to mention too, you know, like the actors drinking is Bob Hoskins. And Bob Hoskins hated it. He hated every day of production. Like he did not like it. He was glad it was over. He just did not have a good time on set. And you know, Dennis Hopper is another one. He's another good actor. I think he was drinking as well. Like they was just in this movie, it was just bad. The you know, the plot's bad, probably their lines are bad, right?
Yeah.
And actually Hoskins, he said this is the worst thing he's ever done.
Wow.
That's what he says. And Bob Hoskins, he's been in so many good stuff. He's been in a lot of good movies, but I guess this is just like I was watching a movie like I think it was a couple weeks ago, and I forgot the name of the actor, but I've seen him in other things. I'm trying to think. It was Tales of the Hood, the second one. And I don't know if you ever saw that, but
yeah,
there was a good actor in it. African American actor. I forgot his name. I'm slipping on his name, but he was in this horrible movie, right? And it's just one of those things. Like you're a good actor, but you're not always in the best of movies, right? I think like Bob Hoskins, like this movie was probably one of his worst movies he was in.
Yeah, I think also with actors, it's kind of that thing, right? You know, his kids probably were like, "Yeah, Dad, please do the movie."
Yeah,
as kids would do.
Yeah.
But his experience, like, if these, I don't really know anything else the directors directed. If this was there, and they do avant-garde pieces, yeah, I'm pretty sure the set was crazy. In a sense, like it didn't make a lot of sense, and things are happening, and you're just like, okay, like none of this is cool. So yeah, I get it, but I also, I don't know. I didn't have high hopes for this movie, and it met my expectation of just being terrible, or I'll say not a Mario movie.
Yeah.
Now the new ones that have come out, I appreciate those.
And those new ones that came out, like they have more source material now. Like they
Yeah,
have a lot more source material, and making it a cartoon makes more sense.
yeah,
Like you said, it just makes more sense. Everything looks good, and it's bright, it's colorful. Uh, and even it's like the people, I know people kind of down, they were very harsh with rating the second movie. Some people, not a lot.
mhm.
The second Mario movie that came out was just as good. I thought it was pretty good. Um, but I just think like a lot of it, a lot of the things in Mario is hard to put into a live action thing because there's a lot
Yeah,
of magic in Mario.
yeah,
Um, so it's kind of hard to do that.
yeah. And I will be honest, like I think a lot of things should be animated rather than like,
Yeah.
you know, one of the one of the video games that I would love to see in a movie is Metal Gear Solid, right?
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
But I would only want it to be animated.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to lie. Like I feel like they can do more for whatever reason in an animated movie than they could in a live action movie.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like the story, is definitely suited for live action, but I'd want to see it. I'd want to see it animated, um, and it's only because you know David Hyatt or all the voices, right?
Yeah.
I have all these voice actors in my head who've been in these games, who've done these games for so many years.
Yeah.
I would want them to be the same voices. I would want to hear their voices in the movie. That's just a bias that I have, or for me.
No, I think that
So
would be good. Yeah.
that's why I'd want to see that. And I feel like I'll say it like this. The DC animated universe is way better to me than the DC live action universe.
Agreed. Yeah.
I feel like the animated universe is the natural progression of the medium from comic to movie. And I feel like they can do a lot more or show a lot more in the animated medium than they can in a live action medium.
Now,
I think
go ahead. I was going to ask you a question. So like, would you want, like for Metal Gear Solid, for instance, would you want that to be straight anime or would you want it to be just cutscenes? Like kind of the same type of how can I word this? The same type of graphics as the game. So it's like the game, but you're not in the game. Just just all
CGI.
cutscenes. Yeah, just CGI instead of just anime. Would
No,
you?
I want to see it all animated. I want to see it all
Okay.
animated. If they want to do computer graphics, that's fine. But I feel like, because if you go back to the original artwork, I like that kind of, I don't want to say it's like almost, what do I want to call that art style? It's almost, it's going to be weird. Neo-Gothic watercolor. That's what I can come up with.
Interesting. Okay.
If you look at some of the original art from Metal Gear Solid 1, it's almost kind of like this Gothic watercolor style.
Oh, okay. I kind of see.
And it's almost like prints from the 80s, because not like PRINTS. So it's almost like these prints from the 80s, which is around the time that the game is supposed to take place.
Yes.
So I like that. Like if they did like which one did they do as a live comic? I forgot. One of the Metal Gears they did, it was like a quote unquote live comic. It's not all moving, but there's certain moving parts of the comic and they're just telling the story and people are narrating. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. I think I know. Is it Sons of? Oh my goodness, I forgot the name of it. Yeah, I think I know. I think you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But if they but I feel like that art style, I don't like that particular art style, but that's the art style it's in. But I would like to see them do animated, like an animated or anime even version of it.
That was the Sons of the Patriots, right?
Yes, yeah.
Was this okay? Okay.
So I would like to see something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And I feel like a lot of video games would benefit from the same thing,
Yeah.
One of my favorite animes, it's based on the Fatal Fury video games. Is there Fatal Fury movies, right?
Huh. Yeah.
The Fatal Fury motion picture is one of my favorite movies. Like I can watch that every week, but it's based on the Fatal Fury game. The characters are from Fatal Fury. They're not doing stories from the game,
right?
But they're using the characters because the game's a fighting game,
right? And they're doing an anime of it. You're saying,
yeah, Fatal Fury motion picture. If you haven't seen it, check it out. If you're a fan of the Fatal Fury fighting game series, I think you'll like it.
Yeah, it's the first I'm hearing of it too. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I have to check it out myself.
Yep. So nice. I feel like as a medium, I feel like video games would be better suited for the animated side. That's just me as a person. For instance, Detective Pikachu, right, did both.
Yep.
CGI and a live action.
Yep.
But that's because they want to, and Sonic, right?
Yeah.
CGI live action. Yep. They want to bring it, but that's bringing it into the real world, right? But if you have a world that's already created, just do it all animated. Do it all CGI. I don't care, but live action, because I also feel like, and this even goes back to the Mario movie, right? When you're trying to do it live action, you're trying to make it real world, more real world.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a sense. And it loses some of that fantastical. Okay, here's one. Final Fantasy VII, Advent Children.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That was another one.
That was anime. Well, it's CGI. It was mostly CGI.
Yeah, but that was one of the best video game, quote unquote, movies.
Yes.
That I have ever seen. All right.
Yep. Yep.
So it can be done. It can be done.
Yeah. I mean, I really think it can be if they can make it, make it anime. I think it's easier to do it in anime because, yeah, like you said, especially with I think they try to do a Dragon Ball Z type of live action because now they're doing this. Now they're making animes live action, which I kind of have mixed feelings about because with anime, these characters do unbelievable things.
Yeah.
So doing it in live action and making it believable is hard.
But here, my take is, and this is my feeling is, the reason they are doing it live action is to get another audience, right?
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
The anime people are going to watch the animated movie. Like I've seen every Dragon Ball Z movie. I've seen every Dragon Ball Z anime.
Yeah.
Like they don't have a problem with that, right? But there are people who don't even know what Dragon Ball Z is, and the live action puts it in a theater where there are people who have who don't even know what Dragon Ball Z is to go watch Dragon Ball Z. Do they watch it? I don't know. No, actually, I would say the majority of people who are going to go see the live action version of something are the people who already enjoy Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I would think they would have new fans.
And maybe You know, if a guy takes his girlfriend who doesn't really watch anime to the live action one, or, you know, for whatever reason, somebody's curious, they heard people talking about Dragon Ball Z and they're like, I want to see what this is. But I don't think you're going to get, I think you're still just going to get the people who know what Dragon Ball Z is.
And now that brings me to another question. Would this Mario Brothers movie, would that kind of fall into that category? Would it fall into like getting new fans or new people into it? Like they hear about Mario Brothers, now they can see this movie, this live action movie, or would you say it's in a different category?
I think everybody, I'll take it for the new Mario. I think everybody who saw the new Mario movies already knew who Mario was, like played the game and everything. Right. I don't think you got anyone who didn't know anything about Mario to watch these movies.
Right.
So the fan base is always going to be like the people who are playing the video games are always going to be the one who goes see the movie. Unless the trailer looks ridiculously crazy, like it's a whole nother story.
That could happen.
And like somebody says, like somebody sees this trailer, they see this trailer, it's like, doesn't this movie look awesome? And you tell them this is a video game, then I think like, okay. But and that happens, you know.
Yes.
And I'll even take it like 30 Days a Night. That's a horror movie, right? It's a vampire horror movie. A lot of people didn't know that was based on a comic.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that kind of thing where, you know, people, there's some niche game or something like that not a lot of people are playing. You know, somebody sends you a trailer of a movie that's coming out and somebody says, oh, this is that video game. This is that video game. Okay, then you probably got a new person. But for the most part, you're going to only get the people who played the game.
Right. I would say with Silent Hill though, right? If you watch the trailer for Silent Hill and you never played the video game, you'll think of it, if you're a horror film, like if you're a horror fan.
I think that was one of the good things about that.
Yeah. I think that might have brought new fans too, because they're like, oh, wait a minute, this is a video game? Interesting, you know? And the same with Resident Evil. I think Resident Evil, like it's a zombie movie, so I would think it would.
Yeah, I was going to say it also capitalized because zombies were big for a long time. Actually, that's an interesting kind of thing to think about, right?
Yeah.
How long the zombie phenomenon lasted?
Yeah.
Like, you know, because technically you can think decades.
It's been a while, yeah. They've been out for a while.
So that was capitalizing on, you know, the game itself was also capitalizing on the zombie thing.
Yes.
And then the movies capitalize on the, you know, we love to see zombies. So every zombie movie that was coming out around that time. Yeah.
And I think also there was kind of a short like hiatus when people weren't talking about zombie stuff. And then like we had all these zombie things. Walking Dead, I think that kind of accelerated it, because Walking Dead was a really popular show, and that kind of increased the interest of zombie stuff. Again,
that even gets me because I'm like, man, like The Walking Dead was on for 11 years, and I'm like, that should have lasted that long. Like at least, like, you know, I'm like, and then the spin-off shows, like, they're still going, and you're just like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't realize zombies were still a thing in the zeitgeist, but they are.
Yeah. They're it's all about survival. Like people like, will they or won't they survive type of stories. And especially if you take out like main characters, now you're like, oh my gosh, who's going to go? Because now it's real. It's not like the main character lasts for a long time or gets the plot armor, right? Because always the main character gets plot armor and they don't die. That's kind of boring, but if the main characters are dying. That's why Game of Thrones was so good, because people were dying. You didn't know who was going to die. So which was realistic. But you know, I think it really depends on the original IP. Like Silent Hill, you could get away with, you can get a whole bunch of new fans with Silent Hill because it's like a brand new type of movie.
Yeah.
And the story is so good, you forget it's a video game because it's such a good story.
Yeah. All right. So, what game do you think could work as a movie? And it could be past or present.
Any game
Any game.
as a live action movie?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I would agree with the Metal Gear ones. I think Metal Gear would be good as a live action.
Mm-hmm.
I think Metal Gear is a great one. I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head. Zelda, the Zelda movie that's coming out. I think that's a movie that could be live action easily, because if you really look at Zelda, it's very Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see Zelda. It's, I think 2028 it's coming out. I'd be very surprised if they screw that movie up, because I don't see how Zelda could be screwed up, because you can do that live action. Yeah, there's some supernatural stuff in it, but there's supernatural stuff in Lord of the Rings too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a Lord of the Rings type of thing, they can do multiple movies, because Zelda had multiple stories.
Yeah.
So I can see that doing really well live action. I can't see a whole lot of movies like, I can't see a whole lot of video games though being live action, like the Street Fighter movie coming out. We talked about it before. Like, I looked at the previews don't really help me. Doesn't really give me any confidence. And I think you mentioned it, like you weren't going to pay for the tickets. I'm not going to pay to see this in the movie theaters. I'd rather wait until I can like get it when it comes home, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to do it because it just didn't look great. But it goes back to the source material. The source material is deep enough, and it's something that you can work with, a director or writer can work with, then I think your movie will be good. I guess I'll turn it back on you. What is one that you can see as real life?
I'm surprised you didn't pick any RPG game.
Oh, well, I'll tell you why. RPGs are very, it's hard because RPGs have a certain element to it, like a supernatural element to it, that I can't see in a movie. I just can't. Like some of the Final Fantasy stuff, they could be a game. I'm sorry, not a game. They could be a movie, right? Because they did do a Final Fantasy movie. It's all CGI. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, they did a bunch of them. Well,
yeah,
like 3.
They did a few of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just the characters, the way the characters are dressed.
Well, I mean, they would adapt that to screen, right? They're not going to have you scantily clad running
No, not I guess not scantily clad. I guess they're dressed in like a crazy way. I guess that's not a huge deal breaker for me.
Right.
Like Final Fantasy VII, I could see would be good as a live action movie. I could see that. But they have a lot of the Final Fantasy games have a lot of anime elements.
Right.
So that's probably the main reason I don't see it as live action. It's very anime. It's like seeing Dragon Ball Z and One Piece and all these other like animes as live action. It's hard for me to see them as live action. So that's kind of how I see RPGs. A lot of RPGs have those anime elements. I only say Final Fantasy VII is because it's so popular. And it'd be nice to see actors playing those roles. But even that, I'd be like, I just make an anime. I'll be fine with it.
Okay.
So that's the reason why, because a lot of them are like Earthbound. No, don't make that anime, right? It's not. I mean, it doesn't have anime elements to it, but it's not. It's not a thing I would think of as live action.
Okay.
But, yeah. What about
What
you?
did,
What is your? Oh, go ahead.
what did you think of the Mortal Kombat movie, the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie?
That was okay. It
Okay.
wasn't great. It was better than a Street Fighter movie.
Right.
It was better than that. It was good. Jim Henson was in there. I think Jim Henson did Goro, right?
Hmm.
I thought they did a great job with Goro. I was a little worried about how they're going to portray Goro and how he's going to look.
Right.
But it was good. It wasn't great, right? It was okay. It was tolerable, right?
Hmm.
I had it in my library for a while because again, it was an okay movie. But yeah, it wasn't like something to be like, oh my gosh, it's the greatest movie ever.
Right. I remember seeing it in the theater. Uh, Tri-State Mall used to have a theater in it,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and I remember I went to see it. I was staying up here with my grandmother one summer, and I got to see it by myself. And that I think there was like me and like two other people in the theater. But I think for me, the one thing that threw me off was Christopher Lambert as Raiden.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Even as a kid, I was like, uh,
He's the
okay.
Highlander. He's the Highlander.
Yeah.
It could
Okay.
be only one.
So you got me there.
Yeah. I think he got that role because of that Highlander, right? I think they needed someone to play like.
I mean, he's been in so many movies since Highlander. So
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Movies of games that I'd like to see live action. That's hard, right?
Didn't you mention Comic Zone?
Comic Zone, I would want to see an anime. I wouldn't want to see it live action.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because like part of the story is he's the comic writer is drawing the story as you go along.
Right.
So I like to see that as an anime. It definitely was I like to see that in a movie, but an animated movie.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see how they would do that well with live action.
Live action game. Okay. Well, no. I don't know if I want to see a live action. I definitely would want to see anime because the game is animated. I don't know if you ever played the Mark of Cree.
No, I never played that one.
PlayStation 2, one of the best games of PlayStation 2. I'm just going to put that. I'm going to say that, yeah. Mark of Cree is one of the best games on PlayStation 2. Like, you can mark my words on that.
Mark of Cree. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll check that out.
It's an animated. It's almost like it's funny because like my friend and I, my best friend and I, we always talk. It's like he's the one who actually got me to play it. And I was like, it's almost like Disney made a video game that was like a violent video game. Like, trust me, when you play.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Yeah, it looks very Disney-fied. The artwork is very Disney-fied.
I would love to see that animated.
Huh.
But live action, let me think.
It is also developed by San Diego Studio. I think they're the ones that created God of War. Right?
Yeah. What I like to see. I'd like to see God of War live action.
Oh yeah, I think they're making a live action God of War.
Maybe, I don't know.
And they're trying to get Jason Momoa to play Kratos.
But are they doing like the first God of War? And I don't. Here's the thing.
That was a TV series. It'll be a TV series.
And I want to start at the PlayStation 2 God of War.
Oh yeah, they're good
That's
ones.
that to me is like the first God of War, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's where I fell in love with Kratos. And I was like, so I would like to see that live action.
yeah. There's a television series live action for God of War.
All right, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Ryan Hurst is playing Kratos, the guy he's from Walking Dead and Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
But everybody was trying to get Jason Momoa to play Kratos because he kind of looks like Kratos in Game of Thrones. He has
Yeah.
like Kratos look. I just don't see him playing that role. I just
You know,
it looks like him, but I don't see him playing that
here,
character.
here's another video game movie that was trash.
Yeah.
Max Payne.
Which one?
Max Payne.
Oh yeah, that was horrible.
Now here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't based on anything in the game. It's like they
No.
just took the name Max Payne.
No.
So I want to see a proper Max Payne live action movie. I want to see the 1980s super cop Max Payne movie. I don't want anything to do with, I don't even know what was going on in the Mark Wahlberg version. I want the game itself has a wonderful story. If you've never played Max Payne, I'm telling you right now to play this game. The game itself has a wonderful story. It's like straight out of an 80s action flick.
Yes.
Like, I'll just put that on the screen. That's what I want.
You know what I would like in that series to be a movie? Max Payne, the third Max Payne. That's the one I want to see in a movie format.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Have you played the Max Payne 3?
Yeah, I played them all.
Yeah, Max Payne 3. I just like that. I just love it because he's in a foreign country and he's getting screwed, and you know that's what I like. So I thought that would be something easy to make, you know. But the one you were saying, that's another one I'd love to see. But of course, it didn't really translate well.
Be like retcon the original Max Payne movie, make the actual Max Payne movie with the story in the game.
Yes.
You don't even have to, you would just call it Max Payne, throw out the advertisement of this guy's family getting murdered by junkies, you know, and just him going on a rampage.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I gotta ask you. We also have Uncharted. So Uncharted had a movie recently. Well, not much recently, but it was the Uncharted movie. Now, what were your thoughts on it? I know I know we're still talking about Super Mario, but we're still talking about like video game movies in general.
Yeah.
But Uncharted, well, the biggest issue I had with Uncharted was Sully.
Sully.
Yeah, that was my biggest issue with Uncharted. But what were your thoughts on Uncharted?
I felt Uncharted is one of my favorite series.
Yeah.
I think about it often. In fact, I'm replaying it now because it's just was so good. It was such good storytelling.
Yes.
And I feel like I didn't get that with the movies.
Yeah.
It's just everything in the game was so big. I felt like you were, and I think that was the other thing that surprised me. This is about the game, right?
Yeah.
It did, like, you know, when you wanted to play an Indiana Jones game, when you wanted to play a Tomb Raider game, when you wanted, like, it had all of those elements, right?
Yep.
Puzzles, the fighting, the action, the storytelling. It's one of the best, like I said, one of my favorite collections of games. All you had to do was put that on the screen.
Yeah.
You could have did the first game on the big screen. Now, I would have preferred it animated and used the character voices. I think that would have been great fan service.
Oh, that would have been good. Yeah.
Like do all CGI or computer graphics, whatever they call it now.
Yep.
And just do the first Uncharted game on the big screen, I would have loved it. What we got, I feel like again, this goes back to studios are trying to sell seats.
Yep.
They're trying to get people who don't know anything about these games into the seats, and you're going to lose some of the people who know about the games.
Yep.
In that process. So
yep.
But the drive. This is what I feel like studios forget. Like the thing that's going to drive your numbers are the people who know about the games, right?
Yeah.
And we've had this conversation before, and I'll talk about it. And I'll say it again. Cult classics, right? You got to remember those movies that are cult classics, TV shows, whatever, they do terrible because they don't appeal to a wide audience. Blade Runner was a cult classic. It did not appeal to a wide audience. I was surprised we got a second one. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it never appealed to a wide audience. I think the second Blade Runner movie is a perfect sequel.
Yep.
But it's still a cult classic. Nobody, when I went to the theater, nobody was in the theater. It was like me and 7 other people. Because Blade Runner is a cult classic. Some of these games are in gaming genre is like that, right? Yep. Now, I will admit the gaming landscape has grown tremendously. I am thankful for it. But it's still kind of a niche kind of segment of society, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many games, so many types of games, right?
Yeah.
Now, one of the things like, I would, and I'm going to say this, Grand Theft Auto, I think would be a terrible movie.
Oh no, yeah, that would be bad. Yeah.
And I am thankful that Rockstar has probably been asked 20 million times to make a Grand Theft Auto movie, and they're like, no.
Yeah. Yep.
Because their game isn't conducive to the movie medium, right?
Well, it's like a mashup of movies, though.
Yeah,
it's not really a movie. It's like a mob movie. It's a
there's
gangster movie. It could be anything.
So many things going on in the game.
Yeah,
that you'd have to make multiple movies.
Yeah,
like they did with Liberty City Stories, right?
Yeah,
it's all these different stories to make up this game.
Yeah,
so I feel like video games as a medium, it's still very niche to find that story, to find that universal story that studios would profit off of.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Hitman movies?
Oh, they were horrible. I didn't like all of them. I didn't like. There was some that are okay, but
my dad loves them.
He likes the
Hitman movies. That's because he never played the games.
Yeah,
right.
I thought they were bad,
and I think that's the other thing, right? Is like, if you played the game, you go in with a certain idea.
Yes.
But if you've never played it, you're like, okay, I guess this is what it is. Like, and that's, I guess, with any movie that's quote unquote based on something.
Yeah, because a lot of the games, like I said, like Silent Hill is just a horror movie, right?
What was that game? It was a PS3 game, and it was like World War II, but aliens had landed. It's like a first-person shooter.
Which one? Which game? For PlayStation?
PlayStation 3.
PlayStation 3. Oh man, there's a lot of games like that. I'm trying to remember what games. Yeah, because go ahead.
Resistance: Fall of Man.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember that game. Yep. Yeah.
I would like to see that live action, where this takes place in an alternate universe, World War II, aliens show up, and now you got to fight aliens and the Nazis.
Yeah. Yeah, it's two enemies.
So
I'm actually and then we're talking about different types of movies. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of the movie for Xbox or the show or the video game for Xbox. Um, it's pretty much the same type of story. You're two muscle bound guys, and you're shooting aliens that took over society. Oh man,
XCOM.
no, Years of War.
Oh yeah. I think aren't they making a movie for that?
I don't know, but that's something that's good too because the story is good. Oh yeah,
I
it is. It is. The movie's in development. Netflix
Yeah.
is going to make it. Okay. Okay.
I would be honest though. I would like to see that all CGI rather than live action.
Live action would probably be your typical, action hero movie.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Anime would be different. They could do a lot more things with it. So I don't know if it's going to be live action. That's a good question. I don't think it is. It's going to be animated.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's good. But if the actual story can be similar, because a lot of the games are inspired by stuff in that same genre, like horror games are usually inspired by horror movies. And you can't tell the difference between if it's a video game or just a regular movie, right? Like Silent Hill.
Yeah. I tell you right now, I bought an Xbox 360 just to play Gears of War when it came out. So
you introduced me to Gears of War.
Yeah.
I didn't have an Xbox, so Gears of War is just a great, and I replayed it too. It's just a great game that has a good story to it. I think it would be a great movie or TV show or whatnot.
Yeah.
And also the one I'm watching right now is The Last of Us series. That series is good so far.
Yeah.
It's really good. And they didn't really stray far from the script from the game. Yep. They didn't. It's the same, almost as word for word, some of the stuff they're saying. Yep. And that's what I would like to see. Like, I wish Uncharted was like that. I wish Uncharted started from the first game, right? Because they started from when he was young.
Yeah.
Which I didn't like. I didn't like that. I like Tom Holland, but I didn't like him as that character. Right.
Yep.
So same with Sully. I didn't like Mark Wahlberg as Sully. Right. Sully to me was an old dude with a cigar. Right.
Right.
Not some young guy. Like, yeah, he was young in Uncharted 3. Right.
Yeah.
But I felt like they skipped the first two. I just like they should have just kept the same story from the first two games, and they would have been fine.
That's the thing. Like I said, they have so much source material.
Yeah.
And it's like, why not just, it's the same thing with comic book movies, right? Like, just use source material.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the thing with Mario. Like, Mario, I give the directors a lot of credit because they didn't have any source material to work with. But nowadays, when you have a lot of source material and you still make a crappy movie, that's when I'm like, come on.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? It's like you give them, it's like a T-ball. Like you have a ball and a T-ball thing. You just hit it off the T-ball thing. It's simple. It should be an easy win. But I think a lot of times, and I think you kind of mentioned this, like a lot of people, they want to put their own creative spin on it, and it takes away from the whole mythos.
Yeah.
Like even Sonic, they're moving away from the human characters and focusing more on the Sonic characters.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was like, okay, here's the human characters and here's Sonic, and it was funny. But now they're moving away from that. And eventually it's just going to be all the Sonic characters doing their thing, which is good. I like that. I like that trajectory.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just the thing about it. It's just, if you have the source material, use it. If you don't, well, yeah, you're on your own. And I think that was the case of this movie and why it bombed is because they didn't have anything. And I don't blame the writers or the directors. I just blame whoever wanted this out there.
Yeah.
It was they did the best they could, and it just didn't hold up. Because like, when I was a kid, I remember when I was a kid, I was like, they're gonna make a whole movie on this. This is a simple game. Even as a kid, I was thinking that. I was like, how they gonna make a 2-hour movie for Mario? So
yeah.
But anyway, that's Mario Brothers in a nutshell. And I'll let you rate it first. What is your rating of the Mario Brothers movie?
I guess, given that I could see the vision for a different sci-fi movie, I guess I'd give it like a 2 out of 10.
Okay.
Because like I said, the story was interesting to me. Like there was a parallel universe where dinosaurs evolved. What we got, just didn't fit the Mario movie. But I would like to see that movie of, parallel evolution track. What are we doing now? Like I said, it just was nostalgic of V and okay, these aliens, they were lizards and this is how they evolved and they have a whole society and what that society is like. And from that point, we want to go back to Earth Prime because it's got food and things like that. So
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
And I do give it. I was going to give it a 1 out of 10. So I actually am. I'm still going to give it a 1 out of 10 for the Mario movie because it's a Mario movie and it was supposed to be a Mario movie, and I felt like it was just kind of an insult to a great video game, but not to. I wouldn't direct that 1 out of 10 to the directors, the writers. I think they did what they could with what they got. I just gave it 1 out of 10 for them, the executives deciding to release this pile garbage. But I do give it a higher rating with the script that you laid out. I give it like a 3 out of 10 for that because I'm like, okay, it's a good thing. They could still add some stuff to it, but I think it's a good start for another movie.
Could have been a great sci-fi movie,
Yeah.
I don't know what they would call it, but yeah, like I said, I could see the direction if we didn't make it about Mario.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like I said, they did the best they could. But at the end of the day, they didn't have anything to work with. And as we kind of talked about in today's episode, if you have a lot of source material, then you shouldn't fail, right? If you have plenty to work with, you shouldn't fail, like comic book movies and like you mentioned DC. Like DC, I don't know why they can't make a good movie. Wonder Woman was great. Wonder Woman was probably their best DC movie. But the rest of them, I don't know what they were doing.
Because Batman versus Superman to me was their best one.
That was okay. I didn't think it was great, but it was okay. But the Wonder Woman movie, not the second one, the first Wonder Woman movie was good.
Right.
The second one was just horrible. But yeah, I just don't know. But I do agree that the animated series are way better than the live action.
The cartoons, they got that cartoon universe on lock.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of why their animated series is really good. Marvel has been doing a good job with a lot of their stuff. there's some ones that weren't that good, but they made a lot of good movies. But anyway, that is the Super Mario Brothers movie. And I appreciate it again. Thank you, Marz Attakz, for joining and actually taking the time to watch this pile of crap.
Yeah, just had to watch it again and just be like, oh my gosh, they really like let this out in the theater. I was so surprised that, man, they spent a lot of money on this.
Yeah, they really did. They really wanted to make this successful, and I think the $38 million that they got, I think that was just people. It's Mario in a movie, and they wanted to see it, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, man. But I appreciate it. Thank you again, and we're going to be back with another great episode. Either it's going to be a movie or a game. It really depends. But we're going to try to do as much as we can on this show. So we hope that you subscribe and also leave some comments if you want. We love the feedback. And we will be back again with another amazing episode from Cartridge Chronicles.
Thanks, everyone.
Super Mario Brothers is a singular entity in cinema. It's a movie that bears the name of a legendary game but possesses the soul of a weird dystopian sci-fi B-movie. It's loud, it's ugly, and it's completely disconnected from the source material. But it's never boring, I guess. As mentioned in the episode, I gave it a 1 out of 10 for not only being a bad movie, but because it was an insult to a great video game. Thank you again for joining us on Cartridge Chronicles. Whether it's a plumber in Brooklyn or a bounty hunter on SR-388, we love diving into the weird world of gaming history. We'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, don't stop gaming.